water, cayenne pepper, and a little bit of maple syrup. Why am I drinking this? Well, I'm currently in the middle of a fast. This is the end of the first day of the fast. We're gonna try to go 3 days. I've heard there's like health reasons behind it. I guess it's just a little bit of a way to build discipline, so I figured, hey, why not give it a try? What's the last time you went even 1 day without food, you know? I was going to make a video about the fast, but I decided against it just because I wanted to keep this channel as focused on video, photo related things as possible, just to provide you guys with as much value as possible. Before we get into today's topic, I'm gonna do what any good YouTuber would do and tell you to please like and subscribe to the channel. My channel is going to be covering everything from photography, videography, editing, tips and tricks, behind the scenes, anything that has to do with this creative space. I'm gonna try covering on this channel. I'm gonna try to leave as much personal stuff out as I can. Also, please give me a follow on Instagram if you are interested in this sort of creative space. You feel free to DM me on there if you have any questions. I'm probably not gonna check my YouTube comments and everything quite as much as I check Instagram. I tend to post on there a lot more frequently, and I post a lot of cool things on there, a lot of things that I'm actually more proud of than, say, these YouTube videos. These aren't really my art. I post a lot of my actual art as well as client work to my Instagram. This stuff being said, let's dive into today's video. So one of the biggest pieces of feedback I get on my music videos is that the transitions were really good. People always seem to love and obsess over the way that I'm able to make very seamless, very smooth transitions. So I'm gonna break down 3 simple ways in Final Cut Pro of how you can make transitions very smoothly, very seamlessly. Anyone can do this, no plugins are required. Now, I personally see a lot of music video creators using lots of kind of cheesy transitions, whether it's a paid plugin that's just not that good of a paid plugin, or maybe it even is and they're just using it way too much, or they're using it very haphazardly. A lot of times I see transitions where it's kind of half there and maybe the rest is just not there. To me, when a transition is not done well, it actually can take away from the edit. In other words, what I kind of think, in my own opinion, is that a music video may have a cinematic quality to it, and then as soon as you have this corny drag and drop transition just kind of shoved in there, now the video doesn't seem as professional, it doesn't seem as cinematic, it doesn't seem as believable, because there's just been this random kind of transition thrown in there that doesn't really work. That's one thing I see. Another thing I see a lot, I feel like, is transitions where it seems to me like the person is trying really, really hard to transition between clips. One example of this is a draw mask transition. I'm sure you've seen this plenty of times where someone will cut out the artist from the next frame, and then they will put that frame, the cutout of it, into the previous one, sort of to transition it. And I'm not saying this never works. I'm not saying that's never good to do. Obviously, there's a time and place for everything, even sometimes those corny drag and drop transitions. But for the most part, I think that people seem to be doing a lot more than they really need to be. So again, that's why I wanted to create this video showing you guys a couple transitions that you can just do very, very easily. To me, I use these all the time. They're extremely effective. And these are just 3 examples. I could come up with many, many, many more. So definitely let me know if transitions are something that you guys want me to dive into more, and we can definitely make that happen. All right, so the first clip we will be transitioning, we have a performance clip. This is my friend Ahmed, very talented, actually Arabic rap artist. Definitely go check him out. So let me just put a color grade on this really quick so we can see it a little bit better. Okay. So I've just made a color grade using Color Finale over here. This is a paid plugin for Final Cut. Definitely check that out if you want to do some very, very simple color grading in Final Cut. Anyway, so we're going to be transitioning this performance clip into this performance clip. Now, what we have in the middle here is a whip pan. Now, all I've done is when I was shooting one of these scenes, we took the camera and see it's not even in focus. This is a 24 frames per second clip. And we just kind of took it and just whipped it randomly, right? From left to right. And all we're gonna do is, we're gonna put this clip right in between these 2. Very, very simple. Now, if you notice, the whip goes the other way as opposed to how his arm is going, right? So it's almost a little bit awkward like that. So we're gonna go ahead and reverse it. See if that's better. All right, so to me, this didn't quite go quick enough. So one thing I definitely advise against this, but you know, we're gonna speed this up. You can do this for this. You don't wanna speed up normal footage. You wanna leave it at the proper frame rates and all. For this, that looks pretty nice, right? Now it's just a simple thing to distract the viewer for a hot sec while the clips are transitioning. Guys, a lot of these transitions are not just something you create it and then you leave it. You have to use these transitions in conjunction with other transitions. So these 3 transitions I'm about to show you, you can actually use all 3 of them all at once, and that's gonna actually sell the transition a lot more. It's really just about how much work and effort you're trying to put into your video. All right, guys, for our second transition, we're gonna have this clip. Now, this is a 240 frames per second clip. Meaning this is 10 times slow motion. It slows down in camera, so the computer is gonna register this as normal speed. Then we have this is a 120 frames per second clip that is not slowed down yet. So we're gonna go to our wheel here, we're gonna do automatic speed, and it'll put it at 20%, the appropriate frame rate for this. And I'm just gonna make a little bit of extra space here, and we're gonna do Command C, and we could do, forget the thing for it. We're gonna do, okay. So we're just gonna paste our color grade onto here really quick just so we can see it more again like we did before. All right, so for this transition to work, you need to be shooting in slow motion, whether that's 60 frames per second, 120 frames per second, or in this case, 240 frames per second if your camera does that slow. This is not really gonna be that effective if you're not shooting in slow-mo. So what this transition is going to be is just a speed ramp, right? So what you do is you start your playhead here at this clip, and you're gonna see when you want the transition to start. So I think by running through this clip, I think it's gonna start roughly, I think I want it to start roughly right there. So we're gonna click Shift B, and we're gonna create a speed ramp, okay? Then we're gonna take this, we're gonna drag it in, and let's see what this looks like. Okay, so I actually want it to go much faster. And remember, 500% speed is still half speed because this is a 240 frames per second clip. We're going to make this really quick. Okay, see how it just speeds up there at the end? Bam. Okay, now what we're gonna do is, we could leave it, right? We could just put this clip here, and let's see what this looks like. Now instead, and we're gonna make sure that they're going the same way, instead of just leaving it, right, we're going to, let's see when I want this clip to start. I think I'm gonna start it right here. These are just B-roll clips from the video. Okay, so I'm gonna do this. Now, what I wanna do is I'm going to create a speed ramp on the other side of here, but we're gonna start it fast this time because we're gonna, remember we started normal speed going into the fast, then we're going to go fast into the slow. So now we have to find out, okay, where do we want the slow to start, right? Where do we want it to start to be slow motion again? So I'm thinking right there, okay. Shift B again, and this time instead of dragging it, let's just do 4 times speed. Okay, put these together, and that is a much cleaner transition than if you just put these 2 clips next to one another. Now, from here, you want to mess with a lot of things. You want to mess with the speed. To me, this second clip looks very shaky. So we're gonna go ahead and stabilize it. First, let's get rid of the end that we don't want. You want to mess with these. These are going to be your transitions of the speed. So the farther out this is, the slower the transition is going to be, and this is going to be a very abrupt transition in speed. Typically, I like to have these dragged out quite a bit, but it's different every time. So you really have to pay attention. Bam. Okay. So we're gonna go ahead and stabilize this second clip. Let's see how that does. Do a little warp stabilizer on that. And that is much, much smoother. Way to go, warp stabilizer. Sometimes this is gonna mess up your footage. Sometimes it actually fixes it quite a bit. So let's look at this one more time. So to me, this clip actually could have more to it, but we're actually out of clip there. So maybe I'll just make it a little bit less. I'm gonna make it a little bit less slow, or a little bit less fast. Let's just do 8 times speed instead. Okay. All right, let's make it back there. We'll drag this bar in because we don't want it to start, or we want it to start a little bit more abruptly than that, and let's play it back. Yeah, pretty good. So again, as you can see, this all comes down to how much effort you want to put into your video. If you are just trying to make a quick edit, maybe you don't even make transitions. Maybe you're just going clip by clip by clip. I know tons of music video editors that do that, and their clients seem to be pretty happy with it. Me, I am very OCD, and I can't settle on anything unless it's absolutely perfect, these YouTube videos being the exception. So let's continue on to our third transition. All right, so here we are with our 2 clips. This is gonna be transition number 3. Both these clips are shot, I believe, in, well, this one looks like it was 120. We can check by the speed, let's see. Okay, so I think this was 60 frames and this was 120 frames. So this can be anything though. This does not have to be, for this transition to work, it does not have to be slow motion clips. It could be any 2 clips. So all we're gonna do is we're gonna go over to our colors tab and our exposure tab, this one up here. We're gonna go over to our exposure. And we're gonna drag this up a little bit so our keyframe appears up here. We're gonna make a keyframe here. This is gonna lock down these settings for this clip. Or this is gonna lock down these settings for this particular frame, okay? Now, I'm not even gonna do this on the first frame of the clip. I'm gonna take that away. Instead, we're gonna decide where we want our transition to begin. I think it should begin about right here. And again, this is all personal preference. We're gonna try it and we're gonna see how it looks after. Okay. So we're gonna make our keyframe, again, locking down these exposure settings for this particular frame. And then we're gonna go to the last frame of the clip. Remember to be on the last frame of this clip, not the first frame of this one or the second to last frame, because it's just not gonna look as good. Okay, so last frame of the first clip, and all we're gonna do is we're gonna drag our exposure way up. And you can kind of mess with the other ones too, just to see, or maybe, maybe you do this entire thing. It's really personal preference. It depends on your clip. But for now, let's just do this. Okay, so let's play back our first clip. All right, so as you can see, the keyframing we've done, we've created one keyframe where this stuff is all at 0. We go to the end, and now it looks like these are the settings for the end. Okay, our next thing that we're gonna do is we're gonna actually see what these settings were here. And we're gonna make it similar to start off this clip. So all we're gonna do is same thing here, but in reverse, right? So we're gonna make a keyframe here, locking down these settings for this frame. Make sure we're at the first frame of this clip, and we're going to boost these up. So this way our clip is bright. Now this is overexposed, of course. We are blowing out, the whites in both of the, the end of this clip and the beginning of this one. But that's okay because it's worth it for the transition. And then we're gonna let it go until we want the transition to stop. I think it should be about right there. And then all we're gonna do is make another keyframe simply by typing zeros into here. That adds a keyframe for us, and now our settings are back to normal. Okay, let's play it back. Cool. So what we've done is we've created a flash transition. Now there's plenty of other ways you can create a flash transition besides just this. You can use overlays. There's a particular overlay I like to use quite often from Ezra Cohen. I'm not really sure how to say his name. But this guy's great. He has a lot of digital assets. You should definitely go check him out. I can leave his link somewhere in this video, probably down below in the description. But yeah, definitely check out his assets. This is one of his flashes, and I use this thing quite frequently. So this is our flash that we've made, right? And you're kind of blowing out the whites by doing this. Let's take these effects away for a second. So I'm just gonna uncheck what we did, right? Uncheck the color board. Okay, then I'm gonna turn this flash transition on. Right now, this is an MP4 clip of a flash. Now, so you have to actually go back over here. You go up here, you click your blend mode. We're gonna click add. This is gonna kind of blend it into our clips. And we're gonna start this transition. This is how I use this on the last frame of this. Okay, and let's play this back now. So to me, that looks a little higher quality than what we just did. Again, you don't need to download external assets to do a flash transition like this. That's why I wanted to show you how to do it in Final Cut first. But you know, as you become more serious about your video editing, it's definitely worth it to invest some money into assets and plugins such as this one. So there you have it. That's 3 very simple, very effective, in my opinion, Final Cut Pro transitions you can make. Not really recommended if you're doing, you know, corporate work, I would say. This is more so for creative edits such as music videos, but that is what I specialize in. So hope you guys have enjoyed. Hope you guys got value from this. Again, please like and subscribe if at any time you enjoyed this video and got value from it. And that's really all I have for you today. I'll see you guys in the next one.